Alright, it's time to talk about everyone's favorite leg breaker, the Slyfrail. The Slyfrail is a very strong suit. It's not necessarily going to be very strong in mass driver per se, but it's better at long range fights than Zabi, and so I think it's still somewhat worth talking about and somewhat of an option. The suit has everything that is standard for a general at this cost. It has one dodge roll, it has a shield, it has melee combo controller, it has two special skills, Melee Battle Optimizer and Pursuit Melee Aux Program. The first one is not very important. The second one is. It has the shitty ground type beam rifle, which takes 4 seconds to charge up. It is not good. Its uncharged shot does like 7% stagger, so it basically does no stagger. But it is your only option. You have only this as your main option. You have a javelin, you have a beam saber, and we have a stick grenade and some Vulcans. Problem that I have with the Slyfrail is the same as I had with the Akai Firepower type, in that it has very few options to stagger, accumulate stagger. But it makes up for that by having a lot of melee damage, just like how the Akai Firepower type has a lot of range damage. The Slyfrail has high melee damage. So let's go over that. Let's talk about the primary. It takes 4 seconds for this thing to charge. And it does an instant stagger. When fully charged, this gun doesn't even do a high amount of percentage stack. It's just there for the instant stagger. What does this mean? It means that this should not be used to interrupt a raid as it's boosting, because a raid needs accumulate stagger to be stopped while in maneuver armor. It does 80% when uncharged and 30% when charged. So when should you use this? You can use this freely on supports. You can use this freely on most generals except for the high god. And if you need to stop somebody that has maneuver armor or the other skills, what you do is you wait for them to stop, wait for their legs to shift weight after they're done boosting, or while they're in a melee combo. Most suits at this cost don't have offense system, which means that you can interrupt them. You can interrupt them once they start doing their melee combo. Once they start doing their melee combo, this will stagger. Maneuver armor will not take effect. Exceptions to this are, I think, Goof Hover type and Makube's Goof, because while Makube's Goof has a melee weapon out, it basically has shock dampeners. So this is not going to work on that. You need to think of other options. But for everything else, this will do just fine. It is your stagger. Let's talk about the sticky grenade. The sticky grenade, it's a grenade. It does an instant stagger, and it does 80%. It does 80% stagger percent. This is pretty good. This will stop a raid in combination with your Vulcan gun, which we'll get to in a second. This is the third video we've done. So let's talk about the applications of grenades in general. Grenades, once you press the trigger button to shoot them, you can start boosting, and you'll be able to shoot the grenade while boosting. This has a lot of applications. You can use this, you can pre-throw a grenade around a corner, and use it as an instant stagger while boosting. Like so. And you can begin your attack from there. This is not a true combo, but it's still something that you can do. It's a true combo if the enemy doesn't have a dodge roll. Once again, it's all about knowing whether or not the enemy has a dodge roll. The other thing that this grenade is, it sticks. It sticks to the ground. It sticks to the ground and then detonates once something gets close to it. So say I threw the grenade this direction, and I expected the suit to come around my corner. It would hit them as soon as they round the corner. You also do things like this. See that? I hit them into the grenade. Things like that are possible. There's a lot of imagination that can be used with this grenade. For example, if, say, knowing that my enemy had the right hand rule and they're on the other side of this, I would place the grenade here, and then as I move around, the enemy would get hit by this grenade as soon as they popped over here, and I can come around and do a melee attack. Let's go over the Vulcans. The Vulcans are 7% Vulcans. These are incredible. It only takes 15 to stagger something. These Vulcans are better than even the High Gogs. High Gogs are 5. This thing has 7. What does this mean? It means that the hand grenade, 80%, plus 3 Vulcans is enough to stop maneuver armor 1. Tack on a couple more Vulcans, and you can break maneuver armor 2. So, you can do something like this. Tap the grenade to start throwing it, boost, and then keep shooting your Vulcan, and then the raid will eventually stop. It's one of the best ways to do it. Just keep in mind that this grenade is a missile stagger, and it will stagger your own teammates. So, you know, try not to throw it near them. Let's talk about the actual thing we're here for. From either of these, which is not a true combo, or the beam rifle, which is a true combo, we are going to do the payoff of the suit. Like how I told you about the High Gog having double downswing being its big payoff, doing 130, 130, 130, 130. The Slyfrail has something very similar to that. We didn't go over a payoff for the Akai because the Akai has no payoff. The Akai is all about doing a large amount of damage with its missiles and its gun, and that's all you're doing. This suit has a payoff, just like the High Gog. A stun into the beam javelin downswing. Oh wow, that's not good. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Try again. We're gonna do a stun into the saber downswing, the spear downswing, and then saber downswing again. Saber downswing. This downswing. Bam. So 3 downswings. Double beam saber downswing. If you want to do a true combo. It's beam javelin downswing, saber downswing. If the suit doesn't have a dodge roll, you can buff yourself by doing a neutral and just downswing with the saber like this. Knowing that they don't have a downswing, you can do this. Saber, javelin, saber. And that suit's leg, their legs are broken. Make sure to aim the spear at their legs. If you don't aim the spear at their legs, then what are you doing? This is notable. You can do other way. You can combo other ways into this. Like if you start with the spear first, it'll be a result in a shorter combo. I would recommend if you are in an even fight where the amount of enemy suits alive equal your own, do something like this. And then just move on. Just move on. That guy is down. You can help stagger somebody else. He'll get up in a bit, but for the moment you're outnumbered somebody. You can do a team combo. Something like that will work. You can also use the beam javelin with lag tactics to eke out corners like this. Like say someone's coming around the corner. You can just do that. You'll stab them. Usually it'll work. Sometimes you'll get tackled. Sometimes you won't. This does a lot of damage. This javelin knocks down even on side swings and neutral swings. So it's really good at making sure that the enemy doesn't get to have their turn. And while they're down on their ass, you can move to somebody else and help them with that. So the way that this suit succeeds is by reducing the amount of active combatants temporarily, moving somewhere else, assisting them with their combo, and then permanently reducing the amount of active combatants by 1 before moving back to the guy you were at. So the Slyfrail, in theory, should be able to take out 2 guys. It should be able to handle 2 suits at once, really boosting the economy of the fight. That being said, watch where you swing this thing. It's gonna knock down your own teammates. You don't want to knock down your own teammates. That sucks. So, in summary, the ranged option of this thing, the beam gun sucks. It's only used for its stagger at full charge. Do not use this, and do not try to charge it while you're in an active fight. If I am dueling someone, I am not using this. If I'm dueling someone, I'm using the grenade or the Vulcans. You can shoot this like once to get some damage, but in reality, if this isn't ready, then use the Vulcans. If the Vulcan and the grenade aren't ready, I would just run away at that point, honestly. But yeah, saber downswing, beam plants downswing, saber downswing. That is all this suit exists to do. It exists to do that. It exists to and to instantly knock down people with the neutral and side downswing. The neutral and side swing. Excuse me. You can do stuff like this if you want, and anticipate them not being able to fight back. But if you start the combo with the lance, you will not be able to do the lance again. That's why you want to do saber first, because you can do saber, lance, saber. If you start with the lance, you can only do saber. You only do 1 saber afterwards, and that's it. I guess I would do a beam rifle shot afterwards. Yeah, that's a Slyfrail. It's a basic suit with basic stun options, but really, really good melee.